program.
I ask for indulgence for a few minutes. I still have a bit of a cold, so I'm sorry if my voice is not projecting. Actually, at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't remember, I got an email from the Rav. Oh, by the way, what the Rav is doing, emailing 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning is no chiddush. I mean, that's the middle of the day for him. What I was doing up is a kiddush, but really what I was doing up is I was trying to figure out how am I going to tell the bad news to a Menashe from the Sunset Store that his quota for selling yogurts is going to drop dramatically. For the last 2 months he's been having quite a run there. So we'll figure out different ways to get him additional parnasa. Anyway. I once heard that it's brought down in the Gemara. I think it's a little nerve-wracking to speak in front of such Talmidei Chachamim, because if I say something wrong, they'll notice it right away. But it says that in the Gemara, "Al yiftar odin min chaveira el mitoch divrei halacha." So I once heard a question: why does it say, don't leave your friend only through a dvar halacha? Why doesn't it say it in a positive way? Yiftar odem v'chaveira b'dvar halacha. So I once heard, maybe it's Chassidish or something, it says, if you don't want to lose your friend, if you don't want him to go, so do a dvar halacha. That's going to be the connection between the two of you, that you'll always be connected. So I'm not going to say a dvar halacha because Rabbi Weiss is going to speak after me. I'm just taking some of the burden off him because he's really not feeling well. I'm shocked that he made it here. It just goes to show what Mesiras Nefesh he has for Klal Yisrael. But I was thinking on the way up here, as I was driving, I was out of town. I came back special for this. And as I was slowing down to pay tolls, I quickly jotted down some notes. What I may want to say in case Rabbi Weiss doesn't show up. So now I can't read my notes because it's pretty hard to write and drive at the same time. I mean, I gave up texting, but writing, I didn't hear no big thing about it, not to write and drive at the same time. So anyway, I was thinking this whole concept of a goodbye party. Is this something like is a Torah-dike concept? Sudas parade, And the whole thing, you make a party that somebody's leaving. I was wondering if the word parade, if you do it with a soft fey, it's freda, you're happy. So what's the happiness? The truth is it's sort of bittersweet. We're happy that you're going back to your home. There's no place like home. But yet for us, it's kosher lai predaskim. So the answer is, it is a Torah-dike concept. And because it depends who's leaving and where you're going to. Unlike Lahavdu Bagoyim, they go take a trip to Cancun or to, I don't know where, Rio de Janeiro, they're going to a bad place. So that's not a happy thing. But we can learn it out from Malav Malka. That's a Sudas prayer that we do every Motzei Shabbos. I think, my own thought, but maybe that's sort of like a Sudas prayer. We're Malav the Malka being Shabbos, the Neshama Yisrael that we have, and we're making a party. We're happy. Are we making a party? We're happy to see them go, but where's the Neshama going? Where's Shabbos going? First of all, it's going to a better place. And then there's another good thing. We know it's coming back next week. Hopefully, there'll be a day Yom Shekulah Shabbos. But at least we know in another 6 days it's coming back. And where it's going is a good place. And our job, while we have that guest here, while we have Shabbos here, is to make the most of it. And that's basically what I just want to talk about for another 2-3 minutes. I heard from my Rav Weiss, a word from this week's Parsha. Again, I'm nervous, I may be misquoting the Rav, but he quotes a Ramban who quotes a Rabbeinu Hananel on this week's Parsha. It says by the Makkos of Arba that there's some very interesting things about the Makkos Arba. You know, the name of the Parsha is Bo, Gematria 3, because there are 3 Makkos in here, and one of them is Arba. And it says when it finished, it says they all left. Lo nishar arba echad b'chol gever Mitzrayim. There wasn't even one locust left in the whole Mitzrayim. Rabbeinu Hananel says that that from then until his time, or maybe until the Ramban's time, I don't remember, there never was another problem with a locust in Mitzrayim. And in fact, if there were locusts in Eretz Yisrael on the border, and if they crawled over to Mitzrayim, they didn't do any damage. So the question is, what Weiss brings out is, this seems like a bracha they gave to Egypt. Here they shouldn't profit from their chatoim. Here they did a bad thing, and now we're giving them a bracha that there shouldn't be any more locusts. So Rabbi Weiss brings out that this was a hakoras hatoiv that for the Mitzrayim, because they fed the Jews. There was no emir latzaim. There was no and they sustained the Jews and Yaakov and so on. So this was our way of Hashem's way of repaying the kindness. It also shows that even when Hashem gives a punishment and does something with this adin, there's always some rachmim in it. So I'd like to relate this to what happened in the scenario, how you all came here. It was a bad thing, Hurricane Sandy, no question about it. It was something the Rebbeinu Shalom did, it was a midas adin. But he tempered it with rachmim and made it available for the yeshiva to come to Staten Island, whether it's in the old yeshiva Nesivos or here in our own house, Beis Mikdash Ma'at, the way that we were able to take you in, and we did it because there's also the same midah of hakoras hatoiv. Now, before I just close off, I know you all. You wrote me such a beautiful card, and I understand there's a letter made telling all you Bacharim and the Yeshiva giving us hakoras hatoiv. But the truth is, this is our hakoras hatoiv. We, Baruch Hashem, were spared from the hurricane, and there was a reason for it. And this is one of the reasons why we were spared, so that we could do this for so many wonderful Bacharim, and you really are wonderful, each and every one of you. I've gotten to know some of you better than others. But to me, you're all coming over to me all the time. Thank you, such a menschlichkeit. This to me is more than anything else. Their Cheretz Kadma L'Torah and all that thing, but it's a fact of life that menschlichkeit is more important than anything else, and to show hakoras hatoiv is very important to me, and it's something that I try to do because I learned it from my parents, Aleim HaSholem. Just a very short story that I'm going to end. My father I may have said this story in shul at one of my speeches, which always seems to go longer than I want to. My father was in Budapest. He was hiding out from the Nazis, and he was running from one building to another as they were coming in, and they were rounding up Jews and killing them. So towards, it was the summer of 1944, he ran into a building with another person, and he went into the basement, and they were hiding there. All of a sudden, they heard 2 soldiers. One was a German, one was actually a Hungarian soldier, screaming down to the basement. Anybody down there? If yes, come up. So they didn't know what to do, and then they said, if we're coming, if you don't come up, if we come down, we're going to kill you. So my father was there with somebody else. I don't know who the other person was, and the other person says to my father's name at that time, he was going by the name of Dejo, a common Hungarian name, and he said, Dejo, we better go, they're going to come down and kill us. So my father says, look, if we go up, they'll kill us also, so, you know, you never know. So he says, I'm going up. So he went up, and didn't take 5 seconds, my father heard a gunshot, and he knew they killed him. But apparently they must have tortured him, because then they yelled down, we know there's one more down there. So my father saw the jig, saw the jig was up, so he said, look, better, I know I'm going to get killed, but if they kill me down here, they'll leave me here, and I for sure won't have a Gevurah. I'll go upstairs, they'll kill me, but they'll come round up the bodies, and eventually they'll do a mass grave or something. So he went up. So when he went upstairs, there were 2 soldiers there, like I said, a German and a Hungarian, and the Hungarian, who were at that time worse than the Germans already, tells the German guy, let me have the pleasure of killing him. You go. So he sent the German away. When the German was out of sight, he pulled up his helmet, and he told my father, Dejo, you don't remember me? You were my buddy in school. And apparently, my father didn't tell me, but my father must have been a nice guy to him. He says, look, you have nothing to worry about. Come with me. And he took him a couple of blocks away to where the Red Cross kitchen was. And he took him upstairs, and he told the guy in charge over there, you see this kid over here? You take care of him like he's your own son. So for the rest of the war, my father was working in the kitchen, and he really had it good. But every night, my father would risk his life. And when everybody was sleeping, he would get up and go into the kitchen and throw food out the window. It was on the 4th floor. The building is still there today. 44 Vesheleni Utsa. Maybe her Blazer Kern was ever there. It's now a girls' school, actually, an Orthodox girls' school. And from that kitchen, they fed 80,000 Jews who were in the ghetto in Budapest. And every night, some Jews would crawl out, sneak out of the ghetto, and they'd come to that window, and my father would throw out food, whatever there was, potato peels, vegetable remains, bones, whatever, everything was gold. And of course, my father knew if he would get caught, that would be it. But that was his Akaras HaTov. Hashem spared him. This is my job to do it. This is a lesson that I try to continue. And this is why I feel we were spared over here, and this is our Hakaras HaTov for Rabban Shalom. And we certainly appreciate the Torah that's being said over here, and you should all be matzliach. We have such a wonderful Rosh Yeshiva. Sometimes I sneak in here 5 or 10 minutes before Mincha, and I hear the way he gives a shir. It's mamash al-koyach b'atzbora. It's such a pleasure to hear a Torah from somebody like this. And I hear the Bachram learning, and it's really was a schus for us to have you here. You should all be matzliach, and don't let me make another hurricane to get you here. Please, come visit us. Maybe we'll have a Shabbat home one time, and you're always welcome. And now, Rabbi Weiss will say to you.
Just go point.
It's something in his blood that he had from his father all of his home to feel such a kesher. And we want to thank him because a lot of details he handled to make all of this possible. So Mendy, thank you for coming, and thank you for really being a very big part of why all of this was able to be so true. See, Carl says, is bad in front of you. I'm telling you, it's like Nine, my stargazing, and in the desert is a koicha, is that, and it's called Ra, and it's Dam, and it's Hariga. We're going to doom. That says, indeed, when it's starting to sing with the case of Ego, Hashem was going to Rachman was going to joy God as well. Right? So Moshe, I'll make a better nation for you. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, Lama Yomer Mitzrayim, Ibarah, Oisiyam. Why should they say? If they told us so, it's the Ra. Nothing Hashem al-Ra. Instead, when Yeshua mouthed Bnei Yisrael by the bank of the Yarden, all those that weren't mouthed in the Chusha, the Urcha, for 40 years, it was a great miracle that Yeshua able to mouth, he did it himself, and mouth like 1 million people. One of the reasons why Yeshua makes his bridge, the rock of Mendy that he made, a bridge stuff, the great miracle that he found. So there were rivers of blood. So that was the rock. But Kedah said, the Pharaoh said, I'm telling you, the God of Egypt is flesh. Sheep. Flesh is the gematria dam. I'm telling you, we're going to get you. So what did your Rebbeinu Shem do? He took the dam of the flesh and the dam of the milah, and he told us to put it on the lampstand. Well, yeah, dam looks at but you'll see this dam is like the flesh is going to become milah. And the evidence is that exactly what Pharaoh said. He was Nebo, the angry, yeah, my Nebo. I don't go to oh, ki ra, they get to make it. What's ra? Ra is the honor. It says, Vayaro is so to toivel. It's so much available to say, one shot all night. It's not God, but there is no mal. The mal is safe, all is ra. So the uki ra neged penechem. Ra, I see ra arla neged penechem, neged panim shel tachta. The kunag varit. The mention Mila. So he said it, he didn't realize what he was saying. What does this have to do with you leaving? He's really a Ma'aridik Mahalak HaKayim in this discussion. That later. It's a way of life, a whole way of life. Generally speaking, if something is supposed to happen to a person, it's going to happen. The only question is, how is it going to happen? It had to be raw. It had to be down. The Beinshom wasn't mavakalit. The Beinshom had it come out in a good way. It had to be down because the Moshe Rabbeinu Tefillah. It was Nochem Hashem, and it came out through Milah. Some places says Yad Beram and Tafein. Something has to happen. We let it be Amen Tafein. The Mori the Pshat is the Mori in the office. The Mina Ben Doisa. That. Who knows the person who live or die. That guy was that makes it. Either was screwed up with it, that guy wasn't screwed up with that. No, you think the stuff. You think of clear and place that somebody's going to die. That would be the speak of man. That is that guy. This one is. That guy is going to make somebody else has to die. I'm wondering maybe that's why when I asked him to say, right say, Freely, I'm going to be stuff. Why don't we just say, right say, we do that, we just going to live, and somebody else has to die in his place. Right say, Freely, I'm going to be stuff. I'll tell you how this man said himself. We had an interesting story here 7 years ago. Right after the Sabbath, somebody in the Sevilla had to come by. Right after marriage, I went to their home. They were working on a problem, and when I get involved in somebody, people figure, and I get involved with a latte bar, and I work full time. I didn't realize that I didn't go home and was to get up dollar. I never ever ever. I didn't realize that I didn't come down here to speak about the job to the multi-job learning program, which I always do. What I didn't realize is by that time my wife, who knows me, myself, she knows about my children, college children. God, happy never used to cut off. I had a pregnant daughter in the house, and she started crying. And my wife got nervous, and she called our son. My brother talks to Shomri. Shomri called Homeland Terror. By the time they found me, there were 1,000 people looking for me. There was an alert that I was seen in the capsule. So when it was all over, I said I was supposed to go. It could have been that I could have been captured and taken to the hospital. It could have been that I could have passed out and been lying in the street somewhere. But the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Racham of Reuben, made me missing helping somebody. That's a mahalach of Hashem. Talia Wallerstein once said that he was standing by a shul, and a man came over to him. You gotta help me, I gotta marry off a child. You gotta help me collect money over here in the shul. You're here. I know if you collect, I'll give a lot of money. The man didn't take no for an answer, so he took the letter and he walked around. It was talked by Rabbi Landau. He collected. And then he said to himself, today I was supposed to collect money. It could have been that I would have to collect for myself. Hashem thought that I should be collecting for somebody else. The Mendy says they should visit the sick, you say himself. You're going to CCU, Charlie Akir unit, visiting somebody who took up to a man in religious that quadruple bypass system. You find yourself in CCU. Maybe I was supposed to be in CCU for myself. Instead, I'm here listening. That's in my Holocaust time. We had yesterday a nice exam in school. Weird night. Maybe you don't know from this, but you don't, it's good. But people have emailed it and send out their own email list to 100 people, 150 people. So one of our Balabata, his email list got hacked into, and everybody on his list, I got it, Mendy got it, everybody who's on the list got it. I'm in Manila, Philippines. I'm stuck down there. I lost my wallet, my credit card. I need somebody to please wire me. One of my friends wired me $1,800. And Baruch Hashem did not slip. We understand that he saw that the chair last night. It's not likely that he's been in Miami for 2 weeks. Although we had one of our Balabasi that called up the president that put together money. We got to send it down to him. Anyway, so when all of it was over, I told Mati, you were supposed to lose your credit card and your cash. So this is the way it was done. That somebody said to you, you would have lost your credit card and your cash. It would have been much worse. So from the time you came here, I had the thought that you needed to go to go. You could have been like in Shanghai. I know probably a Dick and I personally people that were in Shanghai. It could have been that you were running for your life. And it could have been that you were in a foreign country where, actually when you quit to Shanghai, you think they had some others. I heard from people that if you wanted to live in the fact that you had to sign paper and you had to wait 6 months for that necessity. Or you had to get up at 4 in the morning and learn it at 4 in the morning. Because at 4 in the morning it was available. After 2 in the morning it was available. You had to go and go. The British made it. It was noticed that you had to go into for this kind of thing. This is a pleasant one. A gullet full of yogurt. A gullet full of friendliness. Something to always keep in mind. Everything is that's the stuff. You go out to the stuff every day. If I have to, I have to leave my house. People have to leave the house for the house. They have to leave the house to the chair. They have to leave the house. Someone comes to get the board. They have to leave their house because they lose their job and they have to be done with it at the market. Let this be the kalois of the colors. You ever have to leave your husband title? Not for 6 minutes. Not because you're thrown out of yeshiva. Let this be the kalois of the colors. Told me there's a slight chance that the building might not be ready. you shouldn't say, oh, they thought they got rid of us. If you should have to come back in next week, you leave the light on. You not have any hesitation. It's not, oh, we got rid of them. No such thing. The more the welfare, as Mendy said, we got together somehow. It's a very nice idea. The thing matter is that I was talking to Mendy about an idea, and Mendy, because he doesn't want to feel that there's any things attached to our hospital. As you know, the school is struggling financially. The school, in order to get itself out of debt, maybe after the work out of that. So I told Mendy I think that it would be an idea that every bus should take home one raffle and ask the parents for one raffle to show our coach. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll see. It's a good idea on that. But it's just an idea we were thinking about. I don't like to ask Buckham to Cloud to collect. I'm not a fan of boys going out on tournament collection. It's probably my thing. I would like to spend to give and not to pay. Even though it is to tell you, also want Buckham to know what it means to have a tournament. Going to every house and drinking another cup. I want to conclude. That the mission of life is started with 3 crowns. 3 crowns! What are the 3 crowns? The crown of Torah, the crown of Malchus, the crown of Karuna, the Chesed Shem Toiv Oila Gabe. Now, do not account, that's 4 crowns. So it says, Shlosh Ksarmein. And then it says, that the Chesed Shem Toiv Oila Gabe. Which is essentially what Mendy told me before about next. So with 15, we think the same. Well, let me tell you what I believe shot is. It's sticker decoration. They have a image. They have 3 crowns and then 1 big crown on top. I told my wife, I think that decoration is wrong. This 3 crowns really make it